Okay, we've just demonstrated our new minimalist, the black line in the forest, and it uses our 3-to-1 tensioner, which is pretty much our standard rig. Now, we have a heavier rig on the Omega set up over there, and we want to give you a little, we don't do printed handbooks anymore or printed manuals. Everything's online. So what we want to do is give you some familiarity with the tensioner today. And it's very similar to the 5-to-1 tensioner. They're the same unit, only more pulleys on the 5-to-1. This is our tensioner plate. Notice, like all of our product, it's made in the United States. We build these ourselves. We use a Dyneema line here. This is about, I'd have to check my figures for sure, but I think this is about 5,600 pound test. It's a 3/16 inch line. Static, no stretch in it, or extremely small stretch. We usually bundle it up and hang it here at the tensioner when we're neatening up. And you'll have different lengths depending on your setup. We're fairly narrow here. And then we have a backup cleat, partly because I'm a sailor and like tradition, and this is our safety backup for our automatic locking cleat. And really that's all it's doing, is providing a safety backup. If you've never learned to belay a cleat, we use an open base cleat, and it runs through the cleat, and then you go around once, and that is until it crosses itself, and then you make a hitch over it. And then you take the other hitch and you twist and lay it so the two line up with each other underneath this one. That's a proper belay. You can get by with just a hitch over each end, no matter which way you do it, or a couple of times. But we wanted to show you the proper Popeye method, so to speak. When you're done with your rig and ready to take it down, the first thing you need to do is release the tensioner. There's no way you can get these D-ring straps undone while the tensioner's still under force. So you just reach between the two cleats right here and pull straight out, and the tensioner backs right off. You can help it if you want to get the line all the way out. If you're going to put it away, it's a good idea. Now you can throw the tensioner in your kit bag any way you want. We're going to show you what we do, because we just kind of neatness freaks. We like to put it away so it comes out of the bag ready to use each time. So we usually slack the tensioner clear off and let the lines clear back out to where they hit their stopper knot. And we keep a stopper knot, which is called a figure-8 knot. I'll show you how to tie it real briefly at the end of our tensioner line. Figure-8 knot is all the way around and back through, and you'll notice briefly it looks like a figure-8 until you pull it down, or a stopper knot. We usually keep that in at all times. Okay. Now we've released our tensioner. It's real easy to get the D-ring straps out. And these are just like a D-ring belt for your pants. But they work as part of our tensioning system. Our tensioner pulls on both corners, which tightens along this side, but also tightens on the foot end. And you set your foot end length to take advantage of that. It takes a little practice, not much. And then your final tensioning comes with these D-ring straps. We used to not put these on until we had the whole tensioner set up, but anymore we often put them on loose just so they're in place before we tension, and then we finish it when the tensioner's tight. We tug it down tight. You take that off. These little lines here, we're just neatening up the leftover line. Then we've used our running timber hitches, and you can find this, I'm tripping over brush here. You can find how to tie running timber hitches or plain timber hitches on our website. On the photo archives page, we have a couple of manual illustrations for our online manual. We've done this as a running hitch, so even though this has been under a whole lot of tension, you can get it to come out pretty easily and untie your wraps and hitches. You can look at our takedown video for how to neatly take care of the tent or the camping platform. Here's our other timber hitch, but we'll forego that today because we want to concentrate on showing you the features of the tensioner and its Dyneema lines. And we get the timber hitch all the way out. We'll leave that on the ground. Now, how I usually handle the tensioner, again, you can throw this tensioner right in the sack as a clump if you want to. It doesn't really matter. If it gets tangled, and sometimes you may get it crossed up the lines between the the several blocks. Here's the single block and the double that makes it a 3-to-1 tensioner. If it does get all tangled up, just untie this, unthread all of these, and you'll come all the way back to where it's spliced to this first block by way of a becket. This is called a becket when there's a splicing point. Just take it back, run it through one of the doubles, back through this single, back through the other double, bring it back, put it through here, and restore your figure 8, and you've cleaned up any tangled up tensioner you've managed to arrive at. But if you follow our little way of doing it, which we just like to recommend, you won't have the problem with it being tangled up later. We put the tensioner lines at their full length, then we bring them right together with the tensioner on one end and the double block on the other end. Then take this, drop it over. Now these are the tree lines, and it's just my sailor's heart doing this. You don't have to do it this way, but it's kind of convenient. Run the tree lines up along your doubled bundle and turn a hitch over the end of your doubled bundle and draw it down. And then just simply take your doubled tree line and do a nice little bit of noose-like work here and wrap up your bundle of tensioner lines. And as you begin to come to the end, you can go as long as you want, unless you run out of room. Somewhere along toward the end, put a doubled clove hitch. Basically just a hitch and another hitch right beside it. I could have wrapped up and used a little more, but that's about right. And when I'm done, I've got a nice neat tensioner ready for the stuff sack that'll be ready to go next time I take it out. Thanks.